Hi, George here. In this video I want to share a bit of information about how to get as much running into your busy life as possible and ensure that for you who is a time-crunched runner, you ensure that the training that you do is as effective as possible. So TrainAsOne is very effective at that, and the settings allow you really to identify those days where you have more or less time or account for other commitments. And the feature to help you adjust those things is also aptly named commitments. So if you logged into your dashboard and then go into the settings cog, you find the commitments area in here. So when we go to the commitments, you see a summary of any commitments that you have previously adjusted. So you can see here already I've set that generally I'm happy with more volatility if I get more out of my training, and my risk tolerance is standard. I believe the balanced approach that TrainAsOne has is fine for me. So when it comes to the actual commitments, I have designated that I want to run 5 days per week. My actual goal is 6 days per week, but I'd like to have one day where I can be more flexible, maybe go for a little jog myself or go running with my wife. But 5 I want to definitely have in there. And then you can see the summary of all the commitments that you have already set up. And in my case, Mondays are my rest days, so I have set those up for no workouts at all. And you can then see a mix that works for my particular running week. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are my designated workout days. So I've told TrainAsOne that I am happy to do any type of workout, and I have 60 minutes in the morning that I can use for those running workouts before I need to get ready and go to work. So on Wednesdays, I am going running together with my wife, and the difference in pace between hers and mine means that for a Wednesday, I have set this to easy workouts, and it works for me as well, because usually when I'm doing a hard workout on the Tuesday, then it's probably not a great idea to push myself just as much on the following day. So I have a workout day on Tuesday and more like a recovery day on Wednesday, and I'm still going out for a run. I'm just running with my wife, who's also on TrainAsOne, and she's using Wednesdays for workout dates. So with the pace difference, sometimes it works out well. We've only just started, so we're still experimenting. Then on Thursday is another workout day for me, and Friday is another easy day where more likely than not I'm going running with my wife for the first hour and then go out for another loop. I actually have 2 hours on Friday mornings, so that allows me to get a nicer, longer, easy run in. And Saturday again is usually where I do my trails on, and I go outside of London, and I'm happy to do any workout type, and I have no time restrictions. So that's what I'm doing every Saturday with my long run. Then Sunday, my wife and I have a nice little tradition. So we're going out for a little run together, a 5K and soon a 10K. And for me, again, that will be an easy one. So in this summary, just to see what that will look when you've all done it. So how to actually do it. This is done under Update Commitments. And in the first section are the items at the top that we looked at. So planned volatility and risk tolerance are what I mentioned, and the target days per week, which you can set from 1 up to 0. So you've then seen that Monday are my rest days. So I've simply said I don't want to have any workouts here. So if you have life commitments that prevent you from running on a specific day, or you want to just have a dedicated rest day, this is how you set it. Then Tuesday is okay for workouts, and there are no restrictions, which means I will automatically likely get a high intensity workout. And if I want to change this here, I can also go into the custom setting and untick the boxes for either easy workouts or speed workouts or hard assessments, which are the ones that Tao uses for the 3.2K assessment, which looks more at your lactate threshold, your 60 to 90 minutes fast pace capability, as well as the 6-minute assessment, which looks at your overall cardiovascular ceiling, your VO2 max, where you can work for just a few minutes as the hardest that you can. So that's what the 6 minutes assessment does. But in my case, for Tuesday, I'm not going to change that. I'll leave that right here. minimum minutes for a run you can use, I personally haven't found it particularly helpful because the minimum only goes up to as low as 30. So I wanted to see whether I could use this and say, well, actually, on Saturday, for instance, I want to use those for my long run, so I don't want to run any less than 2 hours. But at the moment, this is set to be no more than 30 minutes. So none of my runs is lower than 30 minutes. So for me, that does make sense. For you, it might make sense if you do 15 minutes run or you build up your volume and you do 10 minutes a day and then go to 15 minutes a day or so, or something like that. And maximum run, as I said, on Tuesday mornings I only have 1 hour, so I use 60 minutes. Then you'll remember that on Wednesdays I've set up to only do easy workouts, so I've gone into custom and only enabled the easy workouts for 45 minutes. Thursday is a workout day, so everything is allowed, easy speed or hard assessments, and again for 60 minutes. Friday again only for easy, but as long as 120 minutes, so that's good for nice running economy training as an easy pace. Just keep the same pace for up to 2 hours. And Saturday, no restrictions whatsoever, and that's when TrainAsOne gives me things like pickup runs, or might also give longer endurance runs. So this is what the settings look like, and then this is easily overlooked down here. Values can be set for individual days via the calendar view, and this is actually quite nifty. So I'm not going to change any of my settings, but if we go over to the calendar, you can then see also with these commitments how my training plan is composed. So you see there's a threshold run here, so that's higher intensity on the Tuesday, and on a Thursday is an interval run that's also higher intensity. Friday is an easier run but for longer, an hour and almost an hour and a half. On Saturday as well an economy run for a little bit over 2 hours, and Sunday an easy run for 60 minutes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So TrainAsOne gives me 5 running days because that's what my target was, and it respects that I can run on any of these days, but I don't run on Mondays. So that's how you tell it very simply which days work in what manner for you. So this little nifty addition that is easily overlooked is accessible through this plus here. So you can use this to select certain days where you know that out of your regularly planned pattern, you have a day where you can only do certain things. So say, for instance, you go to ProFit and get a running biomechanic assessment done, and you will have to run very high pace for several minutes, and you'd rather not do another hard workout that day. Then you can go into the day and change the setting here and tell it, well, actually you don't mind running again before or after, but it should only be an easy one because you don't want to strain yourself. Or for example, you go to you have a social event planned that you need to get to, and it will take up the majority of Saturday, and you don't know whether you can get out for a run that day. Then you would go in there and say no workouts to be scheduled on that day, and then TrainAsOne knows that in advance and tries to work around it and give you an exercise on a different day or change the exercises around it. And you can of course also use the other settings here, and you can also tell it that you can only start at a time later than so and so. So if you have commitments up until 6 p.m. for instance, and you can only do your runs in the evening, and this is a great way to ensure that those are in there, and therefore it will then work out whether it has enough time to do certain workouts at a certain time. And so this is a nice little addition that helps you to do small adjustments to the plan that TrainAsOne offers to you, in addition to the pattern that you can set up generally in the commitments page in the settings cog. So hopefully this little walkthrough of how to use these settings was useful to you. There's a little bit of information about it in the FAQs for TrainAsOne, but I wanted to give you a bit of a walkthrough because I got to use this quite effectively over the last few weeks, and this way my plan comes out really well for me and works perfectly for my week, and I can just follow what's in here, and I don't really need to go in and change it around in order to adapt it for my thing. TrainAsOne does that for me, so that's really great. So if you found something useful in here, please hit the like button below. If you'd like to keep up to date on future videos, then hit the subscribe button. If you have any thoughts on this video, please share them in the comments. If you've got any idea for future videos, please also share them in the comments. And until next time, I hope your training is going well for you, and happy running. Thank you very much. Bye.